What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining us. This is another episode of the Banski Show. Today, joining us here is Keith Kirk. How are you doing today, Keith?
I'm doing really well, man. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, man. It's my pleasure. My name is Banski, and this is a show about helping DIY artists and kind of going over all the aspects that in the life of a DIY musician, which is pretty much everything that the label used to do, for back in the day, still today does, but it's changed to the point where we have to take on all the aspects. And I came across you. I met you on Clubhouse, and you were giving a great speech, great talk in the room about metadata. And Keith, why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about your background, and we can go from there.
Yeah, so really glad to be here. Really glad to be sharing again. Always love the opportunity to reach. If I reach one independent artist to get better, I'm happy, right? So this is why I'm on Clubhouse. This is why I'm talking about this stuff every Monday. So I kind of fell into what I'm doing. I was working at PPL, which is kind of like your sound exchange in America. And 4 weeks after I got there, I get this call from Universal. They want to see me. And the thing is, I was looking at, just scrolling through LinkedIn, and I see this thing. I was like, huh? Can you call us at Universal? I was like, what? Okay. And so I literally go down to the office, and it's after work. Everybody's left. But the manager and my line manager are in the office just chilling. I go into the room. I'm literally it's just like I already had the job, basically. It's just like a formal, okay, so this is what you'll be doing. It wasn't like, okay, well, tell me about a time when you had, I hate those questions. But
yeah. The interview questions.
Yeah, oh my God, I hate those questions. So it was just like just to get
I live for them.
Tell me about the time when you had to do this. Oh, I hate those questions. I
see it as like a sport. You just got to practice at it and outwit them.
Listen, I've been through so many of those. Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's fine. So yeah, and I didn't know what it was either. I just knew because it was so informal. I was like, I got this job, and they said, yeah. So when can you start? So I can start today, and I started there. I was the metadata support and training analyst. I had no idea what that meant, but basically it meant that Universal gets a bulk of new records, new releases come in every day to that Universal office from around the world, literally around the world. But before it goes to the platforms, we need to check through that metadata to make sure it's correct. Because iTunes, Spotify, and all these platforms, they have very, very, very strict rules about how metadata appears on their platform. So, the offices around the world, they're entering the stuff, but they're not, sometimes they're not entering it properly. So we would check it through before it goes to the stores. And then if a certain territory like China, I don't want to call out anybody like China or Germany or whoever, is consistently not meeting the standards, then we have to do training with them. So we would train them to do it the correct way. And I worked there for about a year and a half, and then got called to go to BMG and Sony, and that's how it kind of took off.
And what year was that? Where you got that position?
This was 2014.
2014. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that really started my career in metadata. Go ahead.
Awesome. Yeah, that was a Universal Music Group?
Universal Music Group London, yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Office down in Kensington. Mm-hmm.
So you come from years of experience dealing with metadata. I want to start with a simple question. What is metadata, and why should artists care about it?
Okay, so that's the hardest question. I'm still trying to find my my answer to that, my quick answer. But think about your birth certificate, right? It's got your name, date of birth, time, parent's name, hospital, city, territory, and it probably has like
Mhm.
your social security number. That's metadata. That's metadata about you. Um, because without that birth certificate, how am I going to know, or how is the government going to know where you're from, who you are, and then also if you're supposed to get certain types of benefits from it? That's how you got to think about this song. When that song goes out into the music universe, how does the music universe know whose song is it? And when it generates revenue, how do we know how much revenue needs to be sent to that song? That's what metadata helps you to helps us to determine as a music business. So it's the name of the song, it's the territory in which it was recorded, it's the duration, it's the genre, it's the version, like a remix, extended version, motion picture soundtrack version, the name of the artist, publishing information, label information. You can have a lot of information. But the more information the music business has on that song, the more accurately and easier the song can get the money, right? Which is the most important thing.
Yeah, it's more easily traceable and linked back to the owner.
That's that's right. That's right. So it's
Yeah.
not we want to get away from a lot of artists focus on getting the song out to the radio, getting the song out here, getting the song out. But you've got to prepare the song for the market before it goes out. Or else the problem, and I hope I'm not jumping ahead here with what I'm
No,
saying.
go ahead. Here, this is good.
The problem with putting a song out into the market in the wrong way is that when it comes to trying to fix the issue, it's the biggest headache. It's the biggest headache. Like something as simple. So your name is Banski, right?
It's Banski,
Banski.
Banski.
Yeah, Banski, right? Let's say
Yes.
you register your song, and it says, and you put Banski, Banski. For some reason, an extra I ends up in there.
Yeah.
That delays, or possibly that delays you getting payment, or possibly you never get the payment because of that one extra I in the metadata, because it's wrong,
Mhm.
right? But to fix that sometimes can take months, because even if you go to your PRO and say, "Oh no, it's just supposed to be one I," take out the I, for that to populate on all the databases around the world
Mhm.
can sometimes take years. So this is why metadata is so important.
Years. Wow. Do you have a personal like a little story you can share? Just maybe like a success of troubleshooting one of those types of issues and then resolving one.
Whew. Um, I can't think of one offhand, but I deal with a lot of clients, and I deal with clients who says, "Oh well, my name is Banksky, but there's another Banksky out there," and he's
Hmm.
when I type Banksky in Google, his profile comes up with my songs attached to his name,
Hmm.
right?
There actually is on YouTube. Only on YouTube Music. There's someone else. Um, you know, stole my name,
Mm, mm,
and
mm, mm.
and it may but it's ended up on my artist profile. So I don't know. I guess I gotta reach out to YouTube Music to try to resolve that. I don't know how, because obviously they're the ones that uploaded it and clicked my profile and uploaded their song to my profile,
Mm, mm,
and
mm.
now it's showing up on my artist's profile. Actually, not just YouTube Music. I see it on other platforms as well, but that's something I need to resolve. But
And that, yeah, there's a few ways to fix that, but we can get into that when you're ready.
sure, absolutely. Um, so is there a list of items like you mentioned several, like the artist name, title, um, look? You see, you even said where it was recorded, the ISRC code.
Hmm.
Is there a list, or does it just a list keep growing and growing and growing?
I have a list that I got from Sony, and I've added to it that you can get for free on my website, motifmusicservices.com. Motif with an F, musicservices.com, and it has like the basic kind of, I can't remember how many columns it is, but it's a good few columns.
Yeah.
That gives you
Okay.
all the basic metadata that you need to have before that song goes out to the market.
Mm-hmm.
You can have 300 lines of metadata, man. It's there's no limit.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. It's that as long as technology evolves, that you can even get even more. Because I know that metadata used to be in CDs, and we never really even thought about them. And now, as digital art form and DIY, you have to create it all yourself. So, you know,
you hit the
so
nail on the head there with that one, because when you said CDs, that booklet that used to be in the CD with all that information on it, that's the metadata. But that's physical metadata. So all of that now has been transferred to digital, literally. So yeah, you hit the nail on the head with that one.
So when you register the music, I know there's different steps. Can we walk through the different steps and what you consider like fully registering a song?
Right. So you want to get all that metadata before, guys. So whoever listening, go to my website, Motif with an F, musicservices.com. Scroll to the bottom, sign up, and that sheet will be delivered to you for free. Right. You want to get all the
Motif Music Services.com. Okay, nice. It's MOTIF services.com.
That's right. And it's free. You can download it as many times as you want to, right? But that gives you the kind of like a starting point of what you need to do before you release the song. You're not releasing the song yet. You want to gather all that information. So from the name, it has a pseudonym, duration, song, album title, version. You can put what kind of file it is, WAV, AIFF, whatever it is. Lots of information. Once you have that, right, you now want to go to a PRO. If you're in America, you want to go to ASCAP, BMI, or ASCAP or BMI. CSAC and GMR are invite only. And there is also a new player to the market called All Track. All Track. You can go to their website.
All Track?
Yeah, alltrack.com. They are a new player to the PRO market in America. So everywhere, everybody else around the world has one PRO. America now has 5 PROs. You all always do things big.
Yeah, always do things a little more confusing and difficult.
But interestingly, they principally take care of independent artists.
Really, I have to look these people up. I haven't heard of this association.
Yeah, so
All Track?
All Track, no S, alltrack.com. It's a PRO for independent artists, right? So I'm looking to see how that plays out. But if not, you want to go to ASCAP or BMI and register. So once you have everything confirmed on that spreadsheet, you now go to ASCAP and BMI and enter the information on their website to sign up or sign up, right? You're going to sign up as a songwriter. It's a good idea to also sign up as a publisher if you can. You can register the publishing company as an official publishing company, so LLC, S Corp, or C Corp. You gotta pick one that's best for you in your city, in your territory, whatever. So register, and then you become a writer member and a publisher member, right? And that's important because the PROs, they only pay out on the performer side, performing royalties. So when the music plays on radio, on TV, it's sung live, your song is performed live, it's played in a hairdresser or a barbershop or wherever it's playing live somewhere, that's what the PROs pay out on, right?
Okay, those are the performing royalties.
Performing royalties. But they're also the master side, right? That the PROs do not pay out on. So you have to register.
Also known as a sound recording, right?
Sound recording. That's right. So it's a master or sound recording. That's correct. And but you have to register with a publishing administrator to collect those royalties.
Mm-hmm.
Very important because a lot I've discovered on Clubhouse that every time I speak to an independent artist, they either never heard of a publishing administrator or didn't know they had to register with one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to get
Yeah.
to collect those because it's one song, but it's split in two: performance,
Mm-hmm.
master, sound recording, or composition, sound recording. And there's
Mm-hmm.
two different organizations that collect for those two different sides.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're an independent artist, you want to look at maybe Songtrust, songtrust.com. They're not a publisher, they are a publishing administrator, meaning that they collect your mechanical royalties or master recording royalties around the globe. They're in over 200 countries,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they will collect that side for you. All right. So tell me if I'm going too fast here, or is this good?
No, no, this is good. I just want to comment on some of the things you said. One that was great point to bring up on the PROs, performing rights organizations with ASCAP, BMI, and now this new one, Alltrack, to make sure to sign up as a writer and a publisher. That's key takeaway to so thank you for mentioning that and touching that because that's very important to for people to understand because a lot of people miss one. And then moving on to the publishing rights,
Publishing
so
administration. Publishing administration.
publishing administration. Sorry,
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
which publishing administration, which would example would be Songtrust, which is actually what I use and I recommend as well. So that's great information. So yeah, going on, continue with Songtrust.
Right. So the
Mm.
PROs are free to sign up with. Songtrust is $100. I do have a discount code for Songtrust. It's 808 Wave. So
Sweet.
808 WAVE, all one word, no caps. 808 Wave, you get 25% off, I believe, right? Of the sign up fee. No problem. So give that out to your membership, 808 Wave. And yeah, you register your song. You have to also register your song with Songtrust. So you register your song with ASCAP or BMI and register the song with Songtrust. Now, what you need to take note of is that if if you register your song with Songtrust, you have to be with them for at least 12 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to be with them for at least 12 months. Now, they have said that they have come on my in my room on Clubhouse. We had the founder or the chief executive officer of Songtrust come on our room and talk to us and stuff like that. We have
Cool.
some other people from Songtrust come in and talk as well.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. And they said, look, okay, if you come with us, you need to be with us for 12 months. However, if
Mm-hmm.
like you get a major deal from like UPMG, Universal Music Publishing, or Sony ATV, we will look at it and we'll let you go, right? Because this is a major.
They might make an exception
Yeah, they may
just
make
to
it. Yeah,
keep the relationship. Yeah,
that's right.
they don't want
But
to. Yeah.
that's right. So just bear that in mind. Also, if you're just starting out, I wouldn't sign up with Songtrust just yet until you're starting to generate money. Then, because let's say you release one song and it's made like $50, like they're gonna take 15% of that, right?
Yeah. Well, what's the alternative if you don't sign up for Songtrust?
You can retroactively collect for 3 years.
Okay, so you have 3 years after. Oh, and also, so 3 years collecting retroactively is the time frame that you
Yes.
have before it's dumped into that black box bucket that we all
Ah,
hear about, right? That
yes, that's right.
gets distributed to the top earners. I mean, usually the megastars and the labels.
That's right. That's right.
And but I want to pause right there and say at this point, we've already selected a music digital distributor, right?
Hmm.
Someone has already had to at this point already uploaded and distributed their music digitally with the DSP, whether that be TuneCore, CD Baby,
United Masters.
United Masters, yeah, and so on. There's a bunch of different options.
DistroKid.
Okay. DistroKid's a good one. I just wanted to clarify that step was you had to go through that step in order to get to the PRO and then to the Songtrust.
Not necessarily. You can register with those. Well, yes, yes, you're right. Because if especially for Songtrust, if it's not registered, they can't pick it up or find it, right?
Right.
So it has to be on the stores. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because they search by the ISRC code.
That's right.
And then it comes up on their database, and then you connect it, and then which, by the way, Songtrust has been very responsive, and I like them. They've been great.
Yeah, I mean, people been asking me like, oh man, they're taking 15%, blah blah blah. But I mean, look, if you go to someone else, they're gonna take 15 or 20%.
They're providing the service, and they're charging for what they do.
Yeah,
and it's give and take.
Yeah, it is, because if you had to go around to the 200 countries to develop those relationships, sign contracts with all these people, collect your money, that's just no. So if I was an independent artist, look, take that 15%. I don't care.
Right? Yeah.
I really don't care.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. So PRO, ASCAP for BMI, Songtrust as your publishing admin. Now, there's another organization called the MLC that's been set up by the U.S. government from January 1st through the Music Modernization Act. They have been set up, actually, to touch on your point of the black box, to help get money from that black box to the artists. Right?
Really?
Yes. That's essentially one of the reasons that the MLC, the Mechanical Licensing Collective.
You said January 1st of this year, 2021?
That's right. On January 1st, the MLC was officially set up to, they issue blanket license to interactive streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and all these other platforms. And I don't know if you know, but they were given $424 million from that black box to now go and they have the tedious task of matching that money to works now and then paying out to independent artists and artists in general, right?
Wow, no, I didn't know that.
Yes,
interesting.
That's what's happening.
Highly funded. They're funded, and they took a cut of the this infamous black box.
No, they're not taking a cut. It's 100% government funded. Yeah, they're not taking a cut.
Okay, sorry, I misunderstood. 100% government funded. They're not taking any portion of this black box money, but they are working in a favor of independent artists to try and. How are they going about changing? What's going to change? How are they going to get more money for DIY artists that they weren't getting before?
Well, this money is from the black box that the artists have never collected. So they're doing the work of, okay, you've given us $424 million. Who does this money belong to? That's what they're doing. They're doing the process of matching. So, okay, here's $50,000. These are the streams. This is where it's been exploited. This is the information, the label, the artist, the songwriter. Oh, we owe Banski. This $50,000 belongs to Banski. Pay him out, and that's it. That's essentially what they're doing.
So that job wasn't being done before. This administration job of actually researching and seeing who does this money belong to.
Well, if it sits in the black box, right? But if I believe if there's a claim made, then that your PRO or whoever will take that money from the black box and give it to you, to whoever it's owed to. But that's like a 1-1. It's like a if it's claimed,
right?
Type thing.
It's only if it's claimed. Yeah.
Only if it's claimed. If it's not claimed,
Right. And that's again back to the 3-year time frame.
Mm-hmm. Right. So
yeah.
Yeah. So the MLC You can go to themlc.com and check them out.
Okay.
They are doing the work of actively taking that money, taking a portion. So they've gotten 424 million. They're going to take that money, match it to the artist, and actively pay out the artist from the background.
That'd be interesting to hear. Kind of the first wave of artists that got paid. I wonder if there'd be a distinction of whether or not the MLC would be involved. But that's pretty cool. That's a huge change in the music business.
Check them out because they're doing a lot of fantastic work right now. They're doing a lot of webinars. They've given out a lot of information about who we are and what we do and what we don't do. Who needs to get paid? How to sign up? All this tons and tons. I mean, it's really good what they're doing, right? They're really trying to help everyone understand what they're about, what they're doing, how to sign up, who should sign up, etc., etc. Now, but here's the thing: if you're in America and you're with Songtrust, the MLC is a pay source to Songtrust. The MLC is a pay source to Songtrust. So if you're with Songtrust,
they pay Songtrust.
They will. So the MLC, if the MLC files money for Banski, the MLC will pay Songtrust, and then Songtrust will pay Banski. So you don't need to sign up with the MLC. You're only eligible to sign up with the MLC if you're a self-administrating publishing administrator.
Really?
Yes. If you already have a publishing administrator, then you're not eligible to sign up with the MLC because you already have that, right?
Yeah.
So if you're with Songtrust, you cannot be with the MLC and vice versa, right? It's either or. But as I said, the MLC is a pay source to Songtrust. You will still get the money either way. Plus,
I'm curious.
Go ahead.
I'm curious what their fee is. If Songtrust is 15%, if you do a, self-publishing, sign up a self-published artist, what their takeaway is. I'm sure it's not. I'm wondering if it's 100%. If you said that someone is not signed up for Songtrust and they just go directly to MLC, sign up with them, and then when the money comes, does the MLC take a cut?
No, there's no fee. No.
There's no fee. Okay.
No, because remember, it's government funded. So all the staff, it's not what do you call it? It's non-for-profit, right? I don't know if there's an administration fee. I don't even think so. You have to check.
Filing fee, right? But there's no profitable charge.
No
margin in there.
No.
Got it. That's pretty cool. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. I'll have to look into that myself. But that's good to know that I don't have to sign up since I'm with Songtrust.
That's right.
So that's cool.
They will pay you that money as well.
So moving on to next one would be Sound Exchange. Is that the one that comes to mind as far as the pillars? DSP, digital distributor,
PRO,
the publishing administrator, publishing admin, and then Sound Exchange would be called, what is
Sound Exchange? Is a digital PRO, actually. It's a digital PRO, right? But interestingly, they collect revenue from non-interactive streaming platforms. So any platform where the music is curated and you can't choose which song that you want to hear, you can't rewind, you can't fast forward, you can't make playlists, you can't interact with that platform. That's that's the platforms that Songtrust collects royalties from, right?
Songtrust or Sound Exchange?
Sorry, Sound Exchange. Yes, thanks for correcting.
Okay,
Sound Exchange, and they so like Pandora, all the iHeart radios, the Sirius XM, all those platforms, they collect from those platforms, right? So you have to sign up with them. You should sign up with Sound Exchange, right?
Right.
And here's the other thing that they do. They withhold 5% of all the revenues, 5% of all revenues, to pay background vocalists and musicians.
Background vocalists and musicians.
Yes.
So they support the background singers, like people that kind of get left behind in the shadows.
Yes, exactly. Those are my people, man. I rally for those the musicians and background vocalists. Yeah.
They need to get paid too.
Yes, of course, right? You know, when you hear
Absolutely.
when you hear a sweet background vocal, man, oh my gosh, it just makes the song sound so much better.
Changes the song. Yeah, it can change the song.
Yeah.
Make it turn into a hit.
Yeah.
For sure.
So Sound
I didn't
Exchange, yeah, does that. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I didn't realize that they support the background singers.
Yeah.
And so Sound Exchange, by the way, also you have to sign up twice, a provider publisher as well. It's another one of those scenarios where there's a double
Mhm.
sign up that you need to keep in mind.
Yes.
I can't remember what the fee is.
I
Um,
I think that's free as well. I believe
yeah,
it's free. But again, check soundexchange.com.
yeah. And regardless, it's a business expense.
Yeah, yeah.
It's required business expense.
And it's a
Just like
minimum.
for
Go
this,
ahead.
yeah, for service provided. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Um, awesome. Thank you so much for going through all those. Um, very important. Because I know that you have, you deal with intellectual property rights and music publishing. You even deal with licensing. I saw that you had some background in music licensing. Is that correct?
Not so much music licensing. I'm more on the metadata side of things. But you know, I do, you know, to
I'm
understand.
sorry. Okay.
No, it's fine. To understand how metadata works, you have to have
Mhm.
some understanding of licensing and rights administration and publishing. You
Yeah.
have to have some understanding of that. But I'm not proficient in a lot of those areas. I know a little bit about everything,
Yeah.
but I'm more the metadata. That's where I live. That's where I reside.
Absolutely. And as you get more deeper into it, it's like it's a whole full time job in itself. You can be if you have a huge catalog.
Catalog, you know.
And I was just wondering what are the way how do you stay organized? And what are some tips you can give some DIY artists to stay organized on their own that are trying to track their own metadata, being ISRC codes, etc., names, BPM. I mean,
Mhm,
list goes on and on.
mhm. Again, that metadata sheet, that's where it starts. Every
Mm-hmm.
music supervisor and rights administrator would tell every independent artist get a spreadsheet, put all of the headings on top, and then put all the associated metadata for every single song on that sheet. That's how you stay organized, right? And again, I've got that sheet on my website already filled out for you, all the headings and everything like that. You just go there, download it, and just start to fill that out. You know, and it has, as you said, it has the BPM, it has the song key, it has all that stuff in
IPI number, that's another important one
there.
that you
IPI
get from
number,
your PRO.
you know, IPI number, and the
Yeah.
ISNI number. Have you spoken about that one? You know about that one?
No, could you explain what ISNI number is, please?
So the ISNI number stands for the International Standard Name Identifier. So, for instance, P Diddy or Sean Puffy Combs is known as Sean Combs, Sean Puffy Combs, P Diddy, Puff Daddy, Diddy, Love, and now he's known as Love now apparently, right?
Didn't know that.
Right. So in music
Okay.
administration, in rights administration, that's a nightmare
Hmm.
because he has
Yeah.
so many names. This ISNI number or the ISNI code is a 16-digit
Hmm.
code that
Hmm.
sorts of tethers all those different names to that code, right? And then so that when the revenue report comes into the office to Sony or to the music publisher or the label, they will know, oh, if they see one report with Sean Combs and another report with P. Diddy and another report with Diddy, they know through that ISNI code, essentially, I don't think they really use it like that, but this is just an
Hmm.
example. They will know that, oh, this is the
Yeah.
same person, right?
Right. So
Now,
it
if
sounds like
you,
it's used for like aliases, people that have different names they go
that's,
by and different artist names.
that's right. So even if you write books, you do music, you do art, you paint, whatever you do, you can tether all those names to that one ISNI code, right? And then, as we just discussed, with somebody else has your Banski name, if you get that ISNI code, that will help to disambiguate you from that other person, or disassociate you with that from that other person that with the same name.
What do you mean get the ISRC code? How do you get one? Is that different than how you get an ISRC code?
Yes, it's
And
two completely different functions, right? The
you purchase
ISN
it from the government or something, or
no,
how do you
no.
where do you get it?
So there's this website called sound.credit. Sound.credit, right? It's not like
Mhm.
sound.credit.com. You just type sound.credit into Google. The website will come up.
Mhm.
You sign up
Mhm.
for an account, and then a free account, and then you apply for that ISNI code. And they will send that out to you immediately via PDF. Right?
Hmm.
Now,
Okay. Yeah.
if you go to quickly, if you go to musicbrains.org,
You
MUSICBRAINZ,
want me to go there right now?
if you could, if not, it's fine. But if you could,
No problem. I could do that right now.
yeah, this will really help you to understand.
Music Brains
Yeah, it's a Z at the end. Musicbrains,
.com
BRAINZ.org. .org.
.org.
Musicbrains.org. Right? And in the search field, type in Rihanna.
Rihanna.
Yeah, RIHANNA.
Thank you for that.
That's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I typed in Rihanna. I
Right.
see 6 results for Rihanna.
So the first result is her. Normally, click on that. Click on her first name. Right.
Okay.
Tell me what you're seeing.
Clicked it. I see discography. I see Wikipedia. First is legal name, her legal name. Then I see Wikipedia, and then I see her discography.
Excellent. Every EP, every album, every feature, every single is all there. But what I want you to get to is the ISMI number. If you go to the top right, you'll see her three
Okay,
IPI numbers, and then underneath that you'll see
I see
the
that.
ISNI. Click on that
I see the
ISNI number. Yeah.
ISNI code. Okay, clicked on it.
Hmm?
It even says artist information, gender, female.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so it brought me to a whole nother website.
Uh-huh.
isni.oclc.org. So ISNI number has a number, again listing all the information about Rihanna.
But what you're seeing there are all the different alternatives to her name.
Wow, it even says Riri. It even has different languages and different like Japanese, Chinese, Arabic.
Because those, when her name pops up on a database somewhere in Arabia, they're gonna know that that's Rihanna.
Mm-hmm.
Like whoever did this for Rihanna, dude, has blown my mind because they've got every single translation of her name possible, even the wrong spelling.
Right. And that's all manually done. Someone manually submitted each of those iterations.
Yes, sir. Yeah, because on Banski in China, it's not spelled Banski.
Mm-hmm.
It's spelled whatever, right?
Right, the characters that make up the name Banski.
Yeah.
In Mandarin. Yeah.
In Mandarin. So they have done that for Rihanna to ensure that yes, this means Rihanna. Give me that money, please. Hand it.
And do they put it in my pocket?
Put it in my pocket.
Put it.
That's right.
Put it in my pocket. So do they submit it to that same website? Let's see. Go back. Music Brains. Is that where each submission is sent to?
No, it's submitted to that isni.org website. So you have to.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
once you get that ISNI number, right? It's
Hmm.
automatically entered into that database as Banksy, and then you can now go in there and add your different names, your real name, your pseudonym, whatever. You can just go
Gotcha.
and add
Gotcha.
them. But even underneath that, she has all the albums that she's associated with as well. If you click on the,
Hmm.
I don't have it open here. Maybe I should have it open.
Yeah, I clicked on one. I see again the Wikipedia of the album, and then now it's individuals tracks.
All the tracks.
Has the again all the metadata, the country, date,
Yeah, this is how
barcodes.
this is how granular metadata gets brought.
Hmm.
And it has
Yeah.
to be like that because you're dealing with digital. You're dealing with it with a digital landscape, right? So once a database, a digital database, picks up on that, it's gonna say, "Oh, this belongs to Banksy. Oh, this belongs to Rihanna. Oh, this belongs to Banksy,"
Hmm.
right? But if it's
Yeah.
missing, it's not gonna know who this money needs to go to or whatever,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, it's
Real
fine.
quickly, could we touch on ISRCs
Yes.
in
I
the
thought.
in how they attach themselves? Well, the fact that you can reuse them and like if you re-upload something, you use the same ISRC. Could you touch on that, please?
Yeah. So the ISRC, the International Standard Recording Code, is like your song's social security number. So I don't know if Banski, if you got
Mhm.
kids, right? Um,
No kids.
but
Not yet.
no kids. No, no. Okay, not yet. So let's talk about your parents. How many kids do you got brothers and sisters?
I have one older brother, Lusky the Antidote.
Oh, nice. I like that. I like that. I like
Yeah,
that. Right. So
that yeah,
so your parent is the ISWC code that the PRO issues. Right. You are the child. You get the ISRC code. Right. So there's two different
gotcha.
codes, right? So you normally count the composition as the parent and the sound recording as the child, right? So
Really?
I'm sure that you
Huh.
and your brother looks like your dad. You talk like him, you walk like him, or whatever, right? Or your mom, or whatever, right?
Yeah,
You look like them, right? But you and your brother
absolutely.
have you have the same last name or whatever. You look like each other, but you have two different social security numbers.
Right.
It's the same thing with the ISRC code. Every single track must have its own ISRC code. Must.
Hmm.
Let's say though
Hmm.
that Banksy has children now. You can kind of consider them the grandchildren, right?
Little
Or
little Banskicitos running around.
yes. So your children though will be like the remix, right? So your parents, they're the ISWC code, they're the parent. Banksy and Lusky, you're the ISRC codes, but
Hmm.
your children now are the remix of Banksy, the original motion picture version of Banksy, the club mix, the instrumental of Banksy. They must also have their own ISRC code. So let's say, what's your favorite song? What's like your favorite song
Um,
or song that you like
my favorite song.
or a song that you like?
Um, I'm actually digging that song "Hard Feelings" by Michaela. I
Hard
don't know if you know
Feelings.
about that one.
I don't know
It's like
that
it's
one.
a pop song, but
Okay,
it's
okay.
jamming.
But if she has like a remix of that, like five different
Yeah,
versions of that, those five
yeah,
different
yeah.
versions must have their own ISRC codes. So like the radio edit, the instrumental, the original motion picture version, the soundtrack version or whatever, the
Hmm.
version that ends up in a game, the version that ends up in a trailer, all of them must have their own ISRC codes.
They're unique, their own unique ISRC code.
Yes, I'm
Wow.
really hammering on
Oh,
this because it's so important to get this right in the music business. It's so important. You cannot reuse an ISRC code.
hmm, right.
Yeah?
That's so interesting. What about a version that's just clean, an explicit versus a edited clean version? Do
Fantastic.
those have
Yes, sir.
different ISRC codes?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Once
They
it's
do.
changed, yes, must have. So the clean version or the version that doesn't have any cursing or whatever, and the explicit version must be differentiated by an ISRC code and a version title. So in that spreadsheet, you may have two lines with the two songs, exact duration and everything, but one's clean and one's explicit. That's critical in metadata. It's critical
Mhm.
to differentiate those two.
Yeah.
Because the explicit version can make $100,000. The clean version could make $25,000. So the codes kind of help to see, okay, these two different versions, which one is really doing well, which one is not really doing that well. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So they must be
Absolutely.
differentiated. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the like the social security number, like you said. That's a great example. What's the difference between the ISRC and I mean, well, we know what an ISRC is, but what is a UPC code? To me, I think of like something that's scanned, like I think
Yes.
of a barcode, but I don't know if that's true or
You,
skew. Is that
you
the same or
Yes, you can kind of
not?
think of it like that. It stands for the Universal Product Code. So let's say, like, you order something on Amazon, right? And they send the package to you. The
Yeah.
package will have a UPC, but the product inside of it will have an ISRC, right? So the UPC is concerning the package, the ISRC is concerning the product, right? So
Gotcha.
it's concerning the product itself.
Yeah. Which explains why, from what I observe, it seems like the UPC is attached to the album or like the EP or whatever the project is
Yes.
that has like multiple songs on it. So like, because I tried to do that, I tried to get a UPC for a song, I think, and it was like, no, you can't. You get it for the album. Is that correct?
No. You get a UPC for every package. So if you deliver a single to
Mm-hmm.
through DistroKid will issue a UPC code.
Okay. Okay. So it
If you
could be a
deliver an EP, go ahead, go ahead.
so it could be a single, a one song
Yeah,
package,
yeah,
and still
yeah,
consider the package. Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay.
Because that single
Got it.
could just take off and do mad money and do mad, whatever.
Yeah, those
All right,
one hit wonders.
one hit
People
wonders.
make careers out of it. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So the
Gotcha.
single can have a UPC. EP, a different UPC. So even if that single is on the EP, that EP will have a different UPC code. And even if that single is on the album, that album will have a different UPC code. But those three different versions, the single, the EP, and the album, will have the same
Mhm.
ISRC. So same ISRC, right? You can use it on all three. Yeah,
Gotcha. Awesome. That's great information. Thank you so much.
no problem.
Yeah, I know this is hopefully the listeners are still with us and get through, but this is the ones that do are the ones that are going to get paid. That's what it comes down to. And that's why I wanted to bring you on this show because I know you can provide so much value like you have, and thank you for helping all the artists out there and educating them. I wanted to bring up one piece of metadata that to me is doesn't get talked about enough is YouTube content ID. It
Mhm.
feels like they kind of created their own metadata. Like again, like I said, that list, and it feels like the list keeps growing. It's like they added onto it YouTube content ID, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And it seems like they have full control over that. And the I guess the music distributors probably have to work with them to get that distributed, but you have to get it directly from YouTube, correct? And in order to get paid your on YouTube, you have to have YouTube Content ID. Is that
Um,
understanding correct?
I'm not too sure how that works completely. I'm trying to find. I met someone on probably find her on Instagram. I met a young lady on Clubhouse, which I think you should have on the show. She worked with AdRev, and they do YouTube management or YouTube music administration. You should definitely have her on the show to talk about
Yeah,
that
that'd be
whole.
awesome.
Her name is
That
Jamie D. Hart.
Jamie D. Hot,
Yeah,
and
Jamie.
she's on Clubhouse as well.
She's on Clubhouse.
Uh,
She's
Yeah.
the manager and publishing administration manager for AdRev YouTube rights management. Yeah, and she's excellent. She can answer every single question about that. And a lot. She debunks a lot of myths about how YouTube works when you upload a song and all these things like that. She debunks all of that stuff. So definitely talk
Dude,
to her.
thank you. Awesome. I'm definitely gonna reach out to her. Thank you for that for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I'm always looking for new guests to bring on the show, connect with. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, and
No, no, no.
if anyone listening has a suggestion as well, that's a little tid side note. Submit
Bro,
submit guest
I got a lot of people.
recommendations.
I got a lot of people I can send your way, man. There's another guy called Aaron. He's excellent when it comes to PROs and understanding how those work and money. Oh,
Yeah,
excellent guy. So yeah, we can talk offline
awesome.
about that. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Thank you.
no problem.
Yeah, I mean we've covered a lot of ground. I think that everyone should check out motifmusicservices.com and download the checklist that you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Sign up on the mailing list. Um, what I guess on the ending note, before we wrap up, is there any other tips that maybe we didn't cover that artists could use without a budget that can make this part of their business a little bit more streamlined and automated and more accurate? Just something that you notice that some your clients are struggling with, that if they just did these couple of things, maybe they would just get their it would be a lot smoother.
Well, literally, I mean, to reiterate, just do the things that we said at the top of the show. Sign up
Yeah.
with a PRO. It's free. Sign up with Songtrust. I can give you the discount code is 808 WAVE, or one word, 808 WAVE. All right,
Mm-hmm.
plug that in, you get 25% off, and sign up with Sound Exchange. Right, that's at the beginning. That's what you need to do, because that's how you're going to get the revenues
Yeah.
that your money generates when it goes into the market. But before you do that, you want to go to my website and download that sheet for free. That becomes like your headquarters. You need to have every song on that sheet with all the associated metadata, the producer, how much, what's the split share of the song, all that kind of stuff. And if you don't understand really how to fill it out, you can book a consultation with me, and I'll go through that with you in depth, right? Because it could get a bit, whatever. So,
No, absolutely. Yeah. There's so much to cover when it comes to metadata. We didn't even touch on split sheets, but yeah, that would involve the IPI number that we mentioned earlier.
that's right.
Absolutely, yeah. And I never really realized uh, that there's people like you out there where you're helping artists take care of this part of their business, and it makes total sense because it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, but it's the essential ingredient to your success, right?
Mhm.
The music business is a
Absolutely.
digital, algorithmic, data-driven landscape. It's all about data,
Mhm.
right? And if your
Right.
data is wrong or inaccurate or missing, you're not going to see the money that you expect to see. And if you're not registered with the right agencies and organizations, you're not going to see the right money. If you don't have that ISRC code situated properly and the UPC code and all that stuff, you're not going to see the money. You have to get
You're
this. Go
they're
ahead.
leaving money on the table.
Yeah,
They're leaving money on the table if they don't get
yeah.
these codes and
And
register
literally,
everything.
if it goes out into the market and it's wrong, you're dripping pennies every day because it's just wrong. It's not being corrected. So
That's a good visual. Dripping pennies just falling out of your pocket
every day,
even while you're sleeping.
While you're sleeping, you're dripping the pennies. The pennies are just losing every day, every day. So you must do this step before you release the music to the market. And it's not just releasing the music to the market, but releasing it accurately. Spelling your name right, getting your pseudonym, so Banski, that has to go out correctly, and all that kind of stuff. The right shares, the right, all this information has to be right so that the money can feed back to you.
Thank you so much, Keith. I think that's a great spot to wrap up. Is there any place you want to direct and share with us, tell the listeners to go? I know we've mentioned music or motifmusicservices.com, which I know everyone's going to go and get that checklist for sure. On Instagram, they can find you at Keith Anthony. That's spelled at KEITHANTHONEE. And what was your at name on Clubhouse? Is
Keith
that the
Kirk.
same or is that different?
Keith Kirk. It's Keith Kirk on. I believe so. It's Keith Kirk.
I believe so too.
Or just type in metadata in the search. Every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern, we have a room called Metadata Mondays. Metadata Mondays every Monday. So you can come there and get free information about metadata, the process, and all that. And we all usually have a special guest.
Awesome. Yeah. No, I joined one of your rooms and it was dope. I learned a lot. I mean, that's where I met you so on Clubhouse, anyone who's on Clubhouse, find him at Keith Kirk, and that's spelled at KEITHKIRK. And he does the metadata music Mondays all the time. That's
11 a.m. Eastern. 11 a.m. Eastern.
11 a.m. Eastern. Thank you again so much, Keith.
No problem.
And I really appreciate your time and all the knowledge that you've shared. It's going to be a huge help to anyone who listens, no doubt. So thank you. Thank you for your help.
You're welcome. Anytime, man. Anytime you want to have me back, I'm happy to come back. I'm here for the independent artists. I'm here for the indie. So let's get it.
That's what I like to hear, man. Me too. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I would love to have you back. So thank you. Yeah, definitely.
Welcome.
We got to do it again. What up, everybody? If you enjoyed this episode, do us a huge favor and go drop a 5-star review on iTunes podcast review. Make sure to check us out, livingthedreamrecords.com, banskihiphop.com, lucytheantidote.com. Drop a review, Spotify review, Google Podcast review, iTunes review. Let us know what you think. Give us feedback. Holla back. This is Banski. See you on the next episode. Peace.